that tastes like and I don't like it.
Hello and welcome back. Glad you are here. There's a delay. This is so weird. Okay, and why am I wearing this? I've got a little hat collection that's going, and this is from Pakistan, as far as we can tell, and a friend of ours dropped it by, and it's a really neat hat with, it's stuffed with newspaper and twine, also known as string, in the hat to give it support. But I thought this is a great addition to the collection. So it's very nice. Thank you so much. Now, why am I here? This time, I had to write it down and I had to spell it out. I am here to discuss Trumbiculidae. I just heard a cat meow. It's not our cat. We may have a cat in the backyard visiting our cat. Maybe hooking up. They're going to go bowling. Go play poker. I don't know. I don't know what cats do at night. Think about it. You go to bed, you let your cat out before you go to bed, and then they come back in the morning. What do? Well, you know what? Unless you speak cat, we don't know. Anyway, okay, back to what I was talking about. Trumbiculidae. That is a very strange name. That's actually my middle name. Barry Trumbiculidae Levy. Are you familiar with Chiggers? Also known as harvest mites, berry bugs, B-E, not B-A, bush mites, red bugs, and scrub mites. And so what do they do for the world? Nothing. Except make humans and animals miserable. If you've ever had chiggers, you just want to crawl in a hole or a closet or a garage or somewhere and just give up hope on life. Chiggers are tiny. In fact, if our military could militarize chiggers, that would be awesome. You just have to disperse them amongst some other nation's military members and they wouldn't be able to operate anything for days because it's horrible. Chiggers are horrible. And they're tiny. Let me get it right there. Here's some cat food. They're like, they're like if they were on here, you probably couldn't even see them. So, why am I talking about this? Another news story. We got a call that a man was fishing at a pond, and one of his buddies, he was in one of those single, I'll pop up a photo of it, a single plastic little boat. You could sit in it like this, probably lower. And you had a little motor on it or not, and you had either oars or a motor. And one of his buddies was like, he hasn't come home yet, and I know he went to this pond. And so he calls the fire department, the police, and says, I think my buddy has drowned. We need to find him. They call out police, fire, the scuba team. They get to the pond. And the boat is there, but the guy's gone. So obviously, you'd think, well, he may have fallen in and he's dead and he's at the bottom of the pond. And so scuba team goes down. All the news media shows up. Radio stations, newspapers, TV stations. You know, all the usual thing. And they were all doing this with their hands. Somebody with a brain says, maybe we ought to go by his house and check and see if he might be there. We've been out there in the hot sun for about 4 or 5 hours. We've done live shots, 5, 6. 10 o'clock crew's going to come in. They're going to do 10 o'clock live shots. They go to his house. Who answers the door? It was him. He left the boat at the pond and he went home because he wasn't having any luck fishing. Now, it was bad enough that we wasted all those resources and time being at the pond where he wasn't. He was home watching TV, having dinner, probably a ribeye, baked potato, maybe some corn on the cob, having a great time, not even knowing if he'd been watching the news, he would have said, "Oh my God, they're talking about me and I'm sitting at home." And maybe he should call someone and say, "I'm not dead." That's not the worst part of the story. I've had that happen before in another story. The next day, every single person, man, woman, child, animal, alien, anybody who was at that scene had the absolute worst case of trombiculidae. I mean, ever. And what the chiggers do is they find a place to latch onto your body, and they like it being very snug. So they were down on your socks, in your waistline, in your neckline, and they bite into you. And think about the hottest hot sauce you've ever had, and it was horrible. Okay, now apply that to the worst itching all day long that you have ever had. And that's what chiggers do. And they're tiny. I'll put a picture up there. I couldn't even, if I put one in my hand, you probably couldn't even see it. Trombiculidae. May not be right, but it sounds good to me. So that's the story of the worst chigger infestation of the law enforcement, first responders, and media in Oklahoma City. Oh, that's still so weird. History. We were horribly miserable. And at that time, there was no Googling. We didn't Google anything. And so we had to call like the health department or our doctor's office and say, "It's just horrible. These little mites, I mean, all around your waist." And you would itch all day long. You went to Walmart and bought non-itch cream and would hope it would work. Alcohol, anything. This guy goes home. I hope he had chiggers. I don't mean to be mean. I hope he had chiggers. Lots of them. Lots. So he would never go back and go fishing with his little pontoon boat, his little motor, ever again. Anyway, glad you're here. That's the chigger story. I got more stories. Hope you look at them. Great stuff. Gotta go, because I may have some chiggers and I'm itchy.